You mean me?
I don't know. Does it actually work? No.
Yes, 30.
Ah, okay. I don't know. Can you make a test?
You mean say something?
Okay. It's good right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's good, it's good. So welcome everyone. Today is a special workshop. We have David from Juno. And yeah, so David is inspiration for all builders on ICP because it's like the master builder, the person always building and doing things. So yeah, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I need another hobby probably too. That's why I'm building all the time. So yeah, thanks, Seb. I'm David, and I'm a freelance web developer, and I've built Juno. So let's go ahead, I guess. So my idea, I don't want to go through 1,000 slides. I just want to go through, let's say, like 2 or 3 so that we grasp what's Juno, and then we take the time to build something. I have to say that I'm not super well prepared, so let's see how it works. All right. And I guess at some point there will be some time for question, I hope, or if there is any issue or something, you just interrupt me. Okay. So what's Juno? Juno is a blockchain as a service platform which aims to make building on Web3 or on the IC super easy. A bit more concretely, like if you have a bit of experience building application, like in traditional stack, you're gonna often use Firebase or Supabase, which is cool, or Hyperight or whatever. So the idea is to bring that concept that you have kind of like a cloud provider for developer that makes all the complicated stuff for you easy, but on the blockchain or on the IC. So if we compare a bit Juno to today's standard Web2 providers, first of all, Juno is fully open source, so everything is published on GitHub. There is a sense of control. That means that the developer directly controls the smart contract. We're gonna see that in a schema afterwards. And I hope it's not yet the case, but I hope that, let's say, next year, that would be nice that we can transform Juno into a DAO. That would be something I would really like. And of course, yeah, for example, Firebase is not a DAO. Well, so when I speak about control, it's basically because there is like an administration console where the developer can sign in, administrate the work or the various applications the developer build. But that administration console, that app, has absolutely no control over the smart contract. That means that the developer gets what I call the mission control. And from there, the developer can launch tabs. The developer can even launch a new module that gathers analytics. And yeah, it's an interesting concept. Like I've built a lot of stuff, but I have absolutely no control over anything. It's kind of, it's a bit freaky and cool at the same time. And when we think about the IC, so particularly because you attended the Motoko Bootcamp, so maybe we can think a bit of what's the developer experience on Juno, why it's a bit different. So first of all, it's mostly front-end development focused because I'm a front-end developer and that's what I know the best, I would say, or I hope. So it's really easy to integrate Juno in any framework that you know, like Next, React, or whatever. There are lots of examples to do that. There is also that sense that if you are a JavaScript developer, if you begin to use Juno, somehow you should not learn anything about Web3 or not learn anything about the IC. The idea is just like you have a JavaScript library and it should work, and it works. That's what I want. And then there are other things like being able to easily set up a custom domain or have an analytics module, some monitoring, and so on and so on. And I like to say support because I'm basically always online, so it's kind of easy to get an answer if there is a problem. So feature-wise, we're gonna test that a bit, but with Juno, basically, if you start an app, if you start a project, if you start building, you get an authentication, a simple database, which I call the data store. You get a file system to upload and load file. You get the hosting, you got the cycles monitoring, you can save up to 96 gigs, and you got even analytics out of the box. So you have done nothing, and you already have all these features that are ready for you. So it's not like to start a blank page, you really start with everything you need to build your app. And yeah, soon, I like to say the dopest hosting feature because I worked hard to add really cool feature for the hosting purposes. And what's come next is few ideas I have in mind, but we have to discuss with our small little community to see what's gonna be the priority. But yeah, so lots of features and lots of features to come. That's it. Yeah, I don't want to speak more. I guess I can explain whatever I want. That's not really gonna be as clear as coding. All right. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna follow a workshop material I've pre-prepared. So you can either go to github.com/junobuild/workshops, or here you got the QR code if you want. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna take that repo, and we're gonna clone it, okay? I hope my terminal is big enough, huh? You tell if not.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, nice. And in that workshop material, there is 3 flavors. There is Angular, React, Vue, because as I told you, it's like when you use Juno, it doesn't matter which framework. It's kind of always the same. But yeah, we're gonna use React because I assume that that's probably the most people know that one. So we go in the workshop React folder, and because we just cloned the repo, we're gonna install the dependency. I assume that everybody has Node, and that's JavaScript standard. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Now that we have fetched the repo, what we're gonna do is, you see here, there is a table of contents. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a node taking app. And in that node taking app, we're gonna initialize it. We're gonna build an authentication. We're gonna store nodes online. We're gonna list that nodes. We're gonna upload a file within the nodes. And then we're gonna deploy that on the IC. And what I want is that we're not gonna write all the code. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go step by step, and we're just gonna replace pieces of code, okay? But before going further, the first things we need to know is we need to create a project. We need to create an app, what we call a satellite in Juno. So what you're gonna do is you go to either console.juno.build, or you go to juno.build and you hit start building as you want. Okay? when you are there, you're gonna sign in with your internet identity. So if your internet identity is compatible with internetcomputer.org, you use the big button. If your internet identity is compatible with ic0.app, you use the small button. Just because I rather like internetcomputer.org, we can speak about that another day. Okay, so either you click that one, or like I do, the big one, and then you sign in. All right.
I would be curious actually to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So
Can do maybe in the Q&A.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can do that. I even wrote a blog post about it to explain how you can have both. I can show you afterwards. Okay. I will assume everyone was able to sign in. Okay. What we have done here, if it's the first time that you sign in Juno, so I'm the API developer. It's the first sign I signed up in the Juno console. And when I did that, a mission control was created. Okay. So that means that here, me as David has already lost the control, and you got your smart contract that's gonna administrate everything. All right. It's really funny because I'm speaking with my hands and everything, and I'm alone. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So we're gonna start our first app. So we're gonna start this one, which we call satellites in Juno. So we go here, launch a new satellites. We give a demo, whatever name you want, and that doesn't matter. And we hit create satellites. So what it does here is that it launch a Canister smart contract, but instead of just launching an empty shell, it populates all the spheres I've talked about before. Okay. Okay. I assume everybody is all right.
There is a question.
Yeah.
There is a question already. Who is paying for cycles now?
So when the mission control and the first app, it's me. So I started the cycles required to create these two smart contracts, it's me, okay? Then the next contract that you're gonna start, they cost actually half an ICP to start them. And when you have started this project, then it's the developer that takes care of the cycles. So for example, here you see I've got like the cycles balance, and within Juno, I can top up my cycles and so on. And I can also go in monitoring. And here I can enable it, enter my email, and say that I want to receive an email when the threshold goes to down. So it's a bit bare minimal, but that's the start. All right. I guess it's answered the question?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we are set, we have our smart contract. So what we have to do now is begin to code. So the first thing we do is installing Juno in our project, okay? It's probably already done, but we just do it like if it was like really a blank new project, okay? Then when you have an app like right now, if I open this project, so I open it in WebStorm or Code or whatever. So here I need to zoom. Big enough?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So my application here does not know yet this project. So what we have to do is within the JavaScript code, we have to tell that this project should communicate with this satellite. So what we do, we search in the code these things here. Step 1, initialization. Okay. And you see here what I've done is every time I have the steps with the code commented. So what we do is we uncomment the code. And here you see I have replaced satellite ID. So what we do is we go in our project, we copy the satellite ID, and we go back to the code. Okay? So at this point, we have made the connection between our app and our project, and we can begin to implement the features. So if we start the project, npm run dev or npm run start, you will find the app with a sign-in button. But at this point, I guess the sign-in will do nothing. You see here, I'm clicking, it does nothing. So what we have to do is we have to implement that sign-in button. So we are searching for the step 2. And here you see, yeah, I had to comment it that way, but what we do is we take the on-click action, and we add it to the button, okay? All right? So what we do is here we add on-click sign-in, and the sign-in is a function that comes from the JavaScript library of Juno, okay? And if we go back to that project, if I click sign-in, then that's it. It already worked. Okay. Yeah, it should at least. Okay. You see, the page did not refresh because we did not implement the next step, but the sign-in itself did work. And we can control that by going to our console. And here, if I go to authentication, I'm gonna see the user that I've signed it in my app. So of course, it's anonymous. I don't know. I just know that the principal, you know, but I can see all the users that sign in. So I don't have implemented the logout neither, so we can show that afterwards. Okay. So far so good? I guess yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the sign in, but we are not yet in our app. So the next step we have to do here, I'm gonna step to step 4. That's a bit dumb, but yeah, let's do like that. We go to the 4 and we uncomment this line. So, and remove that one, by the way. Yes. So what does it do? Basically, with Juno, instead of telling the developer, here, you have to wait for the callback, you have to wait for that, and do this and do that, the Juno library provides a callback, which is called old subscribe, that always gives you back the user. So if you do logout, login, blah, 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 you always get a user entity, and you can just listen to that user to know if the user is signed in or not. Okay. So in that case, what I do is I use the subscribe to then save the user in a React state. And here you see it's like if the user is undefined or null, then means that it's in. If it's not there, then we need the login. So here, you see, I did not even have, there was the refresh automatic and I'm already signed in. And just to display the other things, I'm gonna implement the sign out, which is the step 3. I should probably inverse these 2 steps. So here we do the same thing as for the sign in. It means just plugging in the sign out, and yeah. So now, if I sign out, I'm signed out, and here I sign in with another identity. And as you see, if I go here, I'm gonna refresh. Ah, shit happens. Huh? Did I sign? Ah, but I signed it with the same identity. My bad. This one. All right. Did it work? Yes. And if I go here, I'm gonna have two. Okay. And yeah, so in the example here, I have used internetcomputer.org too, but it's worth to note that Juno also supports NFID, and it's also possible to say to use, for example, IC0.app if you want to use both. So for example, here I'm gonna do the same. So I'm gonna log out, and it's not part of the workshop, just showing that you can do the both, you know. Oopla. I've copied a bit too much, looks like. Where was I? Oh, anyway. Okay. And here I need to import this. So you see it's an import, blah, blah, blah. And if I sign it here, then you see here it goes to IC0. Okie dokie. So, I mean, I was a bit quick, but still, I mean, we managed to have like a full app with authentication in a few minutes. So now let's store what I call documents. It's basically object on chain, okay? Because we want to save notes, so we want to save text and so on. So we're gonna save object. And to do that, there is two steps. The first step is to go in the console. I think so, it's what I documented, right? Yes. And we go to the data store. The data store is a simple key pair database, but really simple. It's not, yeah, it's not like a full-blown SQL tree, whatever data store. It's a simple database. And what you can do here is that you can create collection. So you can say, okay, I want to save this information in that collection, in the other collection, I want to save this information, and so on and so on. And for our presentation, we're gonna use the keyword notes. So that's just a name I use for that collection. And what's interesting is that you, at least in my opinion, is that you can define rules or permission out of the box. So per default is managed, which means that me as the developer and the user can read or write in that collection. If I said to controllers, it means that me as a developer, as an admin, I can do that, but not the user. If I said private, it means that only the user can write and read in that collection, but me as the developer don't have access. And public, it means that everybody can query that collection regardless of the principal. So here we're gonna create manage, and then the memory. Oh, I don't want to go to it. So you have the choice between the heap memory, which is the memory that goes. Yeah,
we've just done the lecture on memory.
Ah, super. Okay, good. So for me, it's like heap memory is like a bit like the RAM, and the stable memory is a bit like the ROM. Let's say like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go for heap. And here there is a flag to make the permission immutable, because it can be useful, for example, if you say, I don't want to see the data of my user, that you can never turn that back on to see the permission again. All right. Okay. So now we have a collection. That means that from the code, we can save data in the smart contract to that collection, okay? So what we do is we take the step 5, we search in the code here, and we uncomment this. Oop. Okay. So what do? We use a JavaScript function provided by Juno. We say we want to save in that collection called note. And in that collection, we want to save a key. So here I generate a key with nano ID, but that's basically a string. So if you want to use like 1, 2, 3, you can, okay? Just use nano ID. And here, that's the object you want to save, okay? In our case, we want to save the inputs I'm typing. So the input text comes from an input field. And that should already be it. So if I go in the app, add an entry, and here, see, hello world, okay? And I save. Okay. If I go back to my console, to the data here, I have the notes collection. You see, I've got the documents now. And here I'm gonna see what I've just saved. Okay. So yeah, that's basically to save data on chain. So we just implemented that, and that already worked. And all the things also, like you know, like having some checks that there is no, the user does not write concurrently within the same data, and that you don't overwrite data. Or soon we will also have like a function to save data atomically. Oh, it's a complicated word, but you understand it, between collection. So that's already all abstracted. Like as a developer, you just do setdoc, and then it works. That said, here in the app, we have done the setdocs, but we are not yet able to read these documents. So we go to the next step, step 6, and we uncomment this part. So what it does, it calls a JavaScript function from Juno, and it says, give me the list of nodes, okay? So here you see, they are not displayed. And yeah, that's it. And I guess what we can try maybe for the demo purposes is here, if I, right now I say me as a developer and the user can read. I'm not sure if I set controllers, that means just me as a developer. It's possible that if I refresh, I'm not sure, huh? Here, you see, it's not displayed anymore because there is there's permission check that are automatically done. Anyway, it's not what we want. I'm glad it works out. Okay, so as a next step, we want to do the same that we have done with document, but with images, okay? So what we do is we go to the administration console. There is the storage. So basically data store is the simple database, and storage is the simple file hosting solution. And it works the same way. So you go to collection. Here we're gonna use, I think, images, if I get it right. Yes. As a key, same permission share. The memory, you can also choose if you want heap or stable. Here I'm gonna use stable because if you go and you upload like gigs of images, it's probably worse to use stable. You can also set the maximum size for the images, because if you want to allow your users to upload file, you might want to limit what they can upload to not bloat your smart contract. And when you have done that, we search for step 7. And we comment this. So what we do here is file comes from a file input, okay? I think I should have somewhere like, yeah, you see, it's an input file. And we say we want to save in that collection, that's the file we want. And we can also, either we don't provide a file name and then it's just gonna be the file name I give, or I can generate like a file if I want to repeat the action. And just for the demo purposes, we're gonna also do the step 8. That's not necessary for Juno. It's more like for the purpose of this workshop. Is what we do is in the document that we save, we're gonna save the URL to the images. That way, when we display the document, we can read the document, get the URL to the image, and next to the document, we can display a link to the image, just like just a convenient method. So if I go back here, yes. And here I should have an image there. Yes, let's try that. And I submit. Maybe I should have taken a smaller image. Okay. So you see, we have the document, we have the link to the file, and if I open it, here I've got the file. Okay. And there are a few cool options in that solution, I have to say. For example, just as info, here there is like a token option, for example, that you can generate. And if you provide that when you upload a file, then it makes the URL even more complicated. That means that here you have to provide token equals blah, 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 your secret. And that way only, it really makes the URL really complicated. So only the one that knows the URL can access the document, which is kind of, yeah, it's like, it's a nice security. All right. And, oh, okay, that's already it. That was fast. So we have already all the function of a note-taking app. We can log in, we can log out, I can enter data or text, I can upload file, I can list those. Yeah. So the next step now, assuming that we are ready and so on, is to launch this on mainnet. So what we have to do is first we have to build our app. Like it's a JavaScript project, so we have to build it. Okay. Good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna deploy the app from our computers, but it's worth to note that there is like a GitHub action that can make that easily. So honestly, like I rarely deploy now from my main machine. I often like the Juno website and so on. It's all automatically deployed by GitHub action. Anyway, what we're gonna do, we're gonna install the Juno CLI. Yeah. And what we need to do now is we need to tell our terminal that, or our computer, that this terminal and computer has the permission to send data to our satellites, okay? So to do this, we do a Juno login. In my case, it will open Chrome. So because I work in Brave for the demo, I'm gonna open the link. And that's another thing, is like the first time you do Juno login, it will just open the browser. But if you begin to use Juno often, then you're gonna build more apps. And sometimes you don't want to redo the whole login and create new controllers. You just want to use the controllers you already have. So the login, the CLI can help you make this step easy. But here I'm gonna create a new one. Okay, so I take this and I go to Brave because it's where I'm using. Okay. Oh, you see, here I've got a small bug that should not be there. Anyway, it's just a UI thing. Now what I'm gonna do, I say, okay, I want to give my computer and the satellite we have just created the permission to deploy and to interact with those. Here I can give an in, so here I can say controller for Motoko Bootcamp or just a hint, and then I submit. Okay, so what it does is basically the terminal creates a controller, then you open the browser, and in the browser you say, okay, I really want to connect that controller to this because I know myself, and then the link is done. So for example, here, when I go to my satellite in controller, you see now I've got like a third one, which is the one I just added, you see? Okay? Oopla. Good. So I've done the login. We can step this one, I think, and we can probably go to Juno deploy directly. So now I'm gonna do Juno deploy. So that means that I want to, deploy my app, All right. Yeah, it does not work because indeed I have to call Juno init because it's the first time we do it. So in Juno init, it tells me where do you want to deploy, because maybe I've got like zillions of satellites of apps and I need to know, it needs to know where. So I say to the Motoko Bootcamp, and here it asks me from where the file should be deployed. So in case of React, it's from that build folder where we have all the JavaScript, HTML, and so on that has been built. Okay, so here it's gonna be build. And when I've done that Juno init, if you look at your project, you're gonna see that you got a JSON file with the canister ID, the source, and other things. And when it's done, you can Juno deploy. This time it should work. Voilà. So first he do the JavaScript, now he does all these assets and so on. Because, I forgot to, I forgot about that. Like the CLIs automatically, for example, takes care of gzipping all the resources so that you get the best performance for your front-end app. And when you're ready, either you open the link or so on, or you just type Juno open. And voila, we got our app on chain, we can sign in, and so on, and so on. And yeah, 30 minutes, not too bad. And okay, you see I've got the entries. Hello again. Submit, and if I go back to my console, I'm gonna see that now I got 3 principal because I logged in on another URL. So on the IC, every time you are on another URL, you get a different principal, except if you do a derivation origin. And if I go to the data store here, I'm gonna see my things, and of course you got all the stuff like you can filter keys, you can sort keys, and so on and so on. We have seen the storage. What I did not show you is that you can easily set up a custom domain. So let's say no, I wanted to go a step further and I bought like, I don't know, like hello.com, and I want to use hello.com for this. Here I can click add custom domain. Looks like I often use hello.com as a showcase. Anyway, you enter hello.com, then you automatically get all the DNS entries you have to do. So you go to your DNS provider, you put this entry, you click ready, and then Juno does the rest. Because it automatically calls the boundary node services. That's a super service, and set up everything for you. So that's for the app. And then what you can do too is, yeah, we still got things. So like I said, there is monitoring. There is also the analytics, which is kind of cool. That's a new feature. So here you can go and you can create analytics. So here you're going to have one analytics smart contracts for all your project, okay? And when you got one, oh, we still got 2 minutes, right? I can do that, huh? Okay. So that's not in the workshop. I'm just having fun, huh? So what we're gonna do, I'm curious to see if it works. Okay, so good. Let's do it like this. Okay. Did I? Okay, so what I do is I take the code from the documentation. Where was I? Did I just close it? Sorry. Okay, I take the analytics thingy, and here I say I want to use that things here connected with this orbiter, right? Oh. I don't have the last version, doesn't matter. I need to update the libraries in my workshops. Sample, right? Okay, so now we have it. Okay, good. Ah, I'm so stupid sometimes. It's another module. Way better. We got that, and we're just gonna add like a last step here, which copy the worker. Yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. And we want to have it in public workers. Okay, and then I do npm run post install. Okay, I do npm run build. Here I should have like a worker thingy. Super. I do Juno deploy again. So now I've integrated the analytics in my app and I just redeploying online. And in my project, I'm gonna just do the final step where I say, okay, I want to enable the analytics for that dApps. And if everything goes according plan, and if the demo gods are with me, if I go back to our sample app that I deployed and I hit enter, oh, I'm a bit, if I do a refresh, yes, you see, I got one session already. Oh, Sometimes I'm really amazed. And yeah, so when you begin to have a bit of feedback of these analytics, then it look like this, where you're gonna have your satellites, the number of sessions, you got all the referrers, the pages, mobile, and so on and so on. Yeah, it looks like analytics. Cool. Yeah. That's it for me. I hope I was not too fast. And
That's super cool.
thanks. Yeah, it's always like,
Yeah, even though I knew about Juno, it's like so impressive, all the features you've added recently. And yeah, I need to deploy Motoko Bootcamp website on Juno.
yeah, that would be cool. And I mean, of course, I'm using Juno Open, so for me, like, you know, it's like I plug the analytics in 2 minutes because I exactly know what I have to do. But still, I think like the speed you can get, like if you have no idea of the IC, or if you want to really build quickly something, I mean, it's like you just know a couple of functions, and then you can do stuff. So I mean, at least for me, it works well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. But you should not miss the next version, like for the hosting. That's gonna be really, really cool. Like I've added some function for the hosting. Like you will believe that it's a Web2 server. It's gonna be fun.
Can we open for a few questions? I actually have a few questions myself. So do you have numbers of how much people have deployed with Juno so far? And can you show a few examples if you have, like, of cool websites or applications built with Juno?
So I don't. So I can tell you how much developer have made a mission control. Okay.
Okay.
So that's 450.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Since March or something, I guess. So it's not too bad. I guess it's like between 50 and a bit more a month. Depends my activity. How much satellites there is, I have no idea. I cannot tell you because I don't control anything and I don't track the statistics. So yeah. Regarding apps, so yeah, I tweeted about it. The two of this week, I really like those. Where are they? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I spent too much time on Twitter. I'm sorry. So we have Spellcaster and Windows 98, which I like. So I don't know, like Spellcaster, I like it. It has some
Good design.
Yeah, some computer design thingy. I really like it. And there is also that new Windows 88, which I find really funny. And so that's for the two of this week. Otherwise, I mean, the Juno website is a Juno satellite. So it's the only one I still use. The only one that is not on satellites is the console, but everything else I do is on Juno. So I also did that app like back a few months ago, which is called IC Draw, where you can draw your stuff and then things are persisted on chain. Yeah. And if you go to Discord, we also got like a channel, but yeah, that's some of the thing is like if people don't ping me and say, look, I've started that project on Juno, I cannot know it. So I like when people comes to me so that I also promote them. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to share the links maybe to Discord Open Chat in the group, in the chat?
Sure. So
and Has anyone a question here?
Yeah, I have many questions.
Okay. Actually, I have also, but I will let you.
Oh,
I'm not sure this one is connected. Not anymore.
Thank you very much for presentation, David. I have a few questions, but a few are on the workshop, but maybe I want to start with another is, what is the limitation of the backend you provide? Because for me, that's not clear what you can do and what you cannot do with Juno. I understand that it's dynamic, but at what point? And yeah, that's my first question.
yeah, so I cannot answer precisely because I did not make enough studies to give you a proper number. So that probably would even be like something interesting to do. On the heap is like, basically you have like an hash table of collection, and each collection is an hash table, basically. So it probably, each collection can handle easily 1,000 or more entries, but I don't think it's gonna handle well if you go like for 100,000 entries. But yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we can develop some tools to gather some statistic. And for yeah.
No, also, what is because that's something I cannot completely grasp. What is the complexity of the structure we can like submit to your backend? I guess there is a limit because although, yeah.
If I'm correct, I understand the question as like, when should I use Juno to build my app, or when should I code my app myself?
Yes.
Like with Motoko and Rust, and I think that's the question.
Okay, I see. I cannot really answer that question neither, because everybody is different. So, and it's a bit, I don't want also to tell you that's the best solution, that's the best solution. So I feel like it's always depends of the team, it's always depends of the skills, it depends of the app. But in my case, for example, I've got like I use on a daily basis a time tracking app. So I think that Juno works really well for a time tracking app. You know, like what there's app where you have like one developer that, or sorry, one user that gathers data from the user. But like, for example, like I like to say, like, if you want to build Reddit or Discover, maybe you don't go with Juno because then you need like a feed with 1 million of entries and that's and so on, and like, I don't know, like 200,000 users. But honestly, sometimes I also feel like not just in the IC community, but like in general, like people that start and want to build app, they begin to think in scalability and what does it happen if I've got like 1 million users in 2 years from now. And sometimes I think that people overthink stuff, and they should just build something, go out, see if it works. If it works, yeah, super, then you scale. If it doesn't work, then you jump to another app. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand completely. Yeah, I understand completely. Okay, so thank you very much. And also, I have when you show the local before you deploy on the mainnet, you show on the local you were already using the real internet identity. You were not using a local one.
No.
Right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's that's somewhere in my roadmap.
Okay, and is this something that you recommend when you test your app, to actually already, even in local, to test it with real internet identity? Because I always do it with local, but if we can do it like this, the
thing is, so if you use Juno, that's the setup. You're gonna use the real internet identity. If you build your own project, let's say with Rust, then you have to use the local internet identity, because if you build your own project with Rust or Motoko, then you run a local replica on your machine,
Yes.
So that will only properly work if you also deploy locally your internet identity.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
I know I don't understand why, but okay.
It's like
I understood what you just said, but why does it work in Juno? This I don't get. But yeah.
it's because when you code locally and when you work locally, like here, all the data are already saved on mainnet. So
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I
yeah,
understand.
you see,
But
it's like
you connected the backend later, right? It was not from the beginning that you connected it.
no, from the beginning.
As
So
from the beginning, okay,
yeah,
I don't remember. Okay,
so
okay. So that's why you connected from the backend that you could do it. Okay, I get it.
exactly, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
okay.
so here we are really working on mainnet. So here you got your satellite, and here you got internet identity, right? And then when you develop from your computer, you use that directly. Okay.
Yeah. No, now I understand. Yeah, okay. Thank you very
But
much.
that's not it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is also to have like a developer environment where you need mainnet to develop. Just wasn't the priority so far. And also I'm not yet sure how I want to provide that, because it's really important for me to have like when I'm gonna say that, it's gonna mean that I want like a really smooth developer experience. And I don't want to have like a complicated local setup where you have to learn stuff. I like when you just do Juno command and that does the job. So when everything will be clear in my mind, that will happen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. And also, one thing is, at some point, you connected for the analytics, you had to connect to a Orbiter, which is also a smart contract, right?
Yeah.
When was it like set up, this Orbiter? I
So
didn't get it.
I went really fast. So let me. Maybe here I don't have an orbiter yet. Let me sign in. So here, if I go to analytics, you see I don't have yet an orbiter.
Yes.
And here I go
Okay.
get started, and then you have to create it. And like I said, it's like
Okay.
half an ICP and so on.
Okay. For the analytics, you create the Orbiter. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh.
the only difference is that you create one orbiter. Not at the moment, it's like one orbiter for all your dApps. And
Yeah.
the thing which is really cool is that analytics things can become a project on its own. Like it would be like not too much effort to make it fully agnostic so that you can also use it if you are not using Juno. But right now it's just for Juno. But it's all for it. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
One last question. I did not get the difference between data store and storage.
So here in the data store, it's like you got this object we have saved, okay, the JavaScript object. So
Yes.
it's like it's so for example, you cannot upload an object that is more than 2 mega, and it's not even sold for that. It's more like sold for metadata, for data, okay? While the storage is more like a file system. So here I have the image that I have uploaded, okay? And here you have less limitation in terms of size, but it's a bit less powerful to, for example, to list data or update data and this kind of things. Like a document you can create, you can it's a CRUD, you can create, read, update, delete. While here there is not really like a create update, it's more like upload file.
Okay, I get it. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. One last thing I would like to say is that for me, I would think that, but I think I already told you, but I say it again, is that that would be so amazing to have like a way to have like to have other system that connect to Juno and that like other canisters and that create like an app from, I don't know, from another canister that is possible to plug our canister to Juno, and that we can dynamically create a front end and even a back end or like everything. But yeah, if we have like kind of a template and with like different variable that we could implement or not, and because it's already like flexible backend, that would be something, I don't know. I would think it would be crazy.
So it goes a bit in that direction. So we have to organize a call, but the few things we have in mind or have in mind is there is that concept of marketplace and templates, because right now there is that notion of satellites. Like I told you, it's a simple database, blah, blah, blah. But like you say, maybe someone wants something more complex, or someone wants a canister that has API to do that and this and that. So the idea is kind of to have like a marketplace on Juno where instead of just being able to create a satellites, maybe you have other flavor, like other types of canister. And those are provided by developers, so that you have like developer that can use smart canisters from other person, and then you have developer that provide those, you know?
Yeah, kind of a plugin like WordPress.
Yeah, also too, yeah. So,
yeah.
So that would be nice. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that one of this big epic that might happen, and we have to discuss where we should put the focus on the next big thing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very much. And also thank you very much for your availability and help. Yeah.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.
We have another question. Okay, I think we have some question in the chat.
All right.
It's more comments than question, I think. Yeah, okay, so we are just on time actually.
Oh, super. Okay.
So do you want to add something?
No, I mean, like, you should definitely try out Juno to build some stuff quickly. If you have questions, you know where to reach out. And yeah, you have some more workshop during the bootcamp?
We have we have some more tomorrow. But like from internal to the bootcamp, like I'm going to do the workshop. There is a last presentation from Ricardo. It's an NFT game, so completely different. But no, we don't have like external workshop. So it was the last one. Yeah.
Cool. But still, have a lot of fun till the end.
Thanks. Thank you.
And yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.